So in order to store our passwords, we're going to use what's called bcrypt. Bcrypt is a encryption algorithm. What it does is it basically makes it very time infeasible for you to crack by putting your password or whatever string someone would be using through multiple rounds of a very expensive calculation, adding salts which are required and everything, and it basically makes it take a really long time to calculate the result of putting whatever string you have through bcrypt. So it's a good method for encrypting passwords. Normally we would probably want to encrypt everything and then just decrypt it when we go to use it. But for the purposes of this lab and also for being able to read it in phpMyAdmin, for the moment at the very least, we're going to just store the passwords in their encrypted form. So we're right here in our else statement. We're going to go hashed. And that's going to be this function password underscore hash. And I'm using this autocomplete pass w. All right, so the first variable that we're going to pass in is our password. The next thing we're going to pass in is called it's password underscore bcrypt. Now there's a couple of other ones that you can use. There's, I believe, MD5. There's several other ones. The point is we're going to use bcrypt. Because of the ones that PHP provides by default, this is the most secure. So that's what we're going to go with. And then we're going to use a very similar one that we used before to bind our parameters. Where's our bind parameters? Let me use these guys right here. Copy those. It's going to be a little bit different in this one right here, this top one of the bind parameters bunch, because we are going to have actually 5 things that we're going to be passing, because we're not going to pass the password confirmation. We only need one password, which is stored right here in the hash, because at this point we've determined that the passwords are different. So make sure that you are passing in the correct number of S's right here. There's 5. There's 5 of these question marks right here. And make sure that you're passing these variables into the respective attributes right here. These are column names. So if you're unsure, you're going to want to go back and open up your phpMyAdmin. We're in the users table. And that's cool. I was inactive. That's good that it logs me out. All right, and make sure that you use the names as they're spelled in here. For example, this is password, not pass, not pwd, not passw, password. So yeah, the order is defined based on what you have here. So the first one that I'm going to put is going to be my L name. And the reason I'm going to copy this is because I can get a little bit of mileage out of it when I'm copying and pasting. The next one is going to be the F name. And then, oops, the email. Then I have the username right there already. And then we just need the hash password to store for the password, which is, oops, just hashed. Okay. And then that will execute this. That'll store the result. And then what we're going to do is we are also going to store the username and the first name in our profile table as well. It's our profiles with an S. So we've got the first name and the username. The profile pic, we'll let them change, and we'll create a separate mechanism for that. All right, so we're just going to create this SQL code right here. We're not going to put it through another round of prepared statements or checking, because we've already done that. We've checked all the variables at this point. If you are diligent, you could also just do one check at the very beginning. So we're going to insert these into profiles. Whatever you name that table, I named it profiles. This is where the profile picture is going to be stored. And in parentheses, just like it is right here, we're going to have the uname and the fname, which again corresponds directly to how they are in here. So fname and uname. The order doesn't matter in that parentheses. What matters is when we actually bind them. Values, which is right here. Now, this is a little bit unique because we're going to be using these single quotes in here because we're binding it directly. Oops. So we need single quotes, and this is where inside this string we're going to have our PHP. So our PHP variable. So this is called string interpolation. The first one that we have is our username. And then outside of the single quotes, we're going to have a comma, and then another set of single quotes. And this is going to be the $fname, because we know that this is clean. And we're just going to execute this MySQLi underscore query. We're going to run a query. Whenever you run a statement in MySQL or in SQL, it's called a query. Doesn't matter if you're actually asking it. I guess you're technically asking it to do something when you're asking it to insert. But anyway. All right, so that's going to give you your profile picture, and we are going to say sign up success. So we're going to have another one of these headers. It's going to take you back to the sign in page. But instead of an error, it's going to be success, and it's going to be not SQL injection or whatever you had there, but sign up equals success. Oh, sign up. That's what I meant to put. Sign up. Sign up equals success. All right, cool. And that exits. And the last thing we need to do is, outside of 1, 2, 3 of these parentheses, which will take us up to this else statement right here. We are going to close out our statement. So my SQLi underscore stmt underscore close. What this does is it's very similar to closing a socket. It basically frees up resources. Now, for you running on a virtual machine with one website and no users, this isn't such a big deal, but if you were in an enterprise environment, this would be a very big deal. And we're going to close everything else. MySQLi underscore close the connection. Okay. All right, and then let's see. If the button was not pressed, then just go to the signup.php, not this. Yeah. So we're going to just do an else statement. Gonna copy this guy right here. And it's not an error, really. So make sure to save this. Make sure that do yourself a favor and turn on autosave. That'll make your life a little bit easier. And then go to your signup.php page and reload the server. Now, put in some random gobbledygook. For the email address, it just has to be in this kind of form, anything at anything.com or .org or whatever. But if it doesn't see an at symbol and that kind of form, when you go to submit it, it'll give you a hard time. The password doesn't have any length checking. We'll get to that in the next class, in the next lab. So I'm just going to do 123 as my password, which is super secure. Now, as you can see up in the URL right here, it says sign up success. So when I go into my PHP My Admin, my profiles, you can see, boom, there's my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ASDF. And then in the users right here, I have this. And look, there it is, all nice and encrypted using bcrypt, which is great. And when we get to the login page in subsequent classes, you'll see how we decrypt that. So anyway, that would be it. I just want to show you what it looks like if it fails. So I'm going to use the same username, for example. It's not checking the same emails as well, so that's another improvement that could be made. I must have done something different. Oh, I had another 5 on the end there. Oops. All right, whatever. I'll just do 1, 2, 3. As you can see, there's an error right here, and it doesn't get placed in our database right here because it never makes it to that point. All right, and other similar errors will look like that as well. So anyway, up to this point, what you're going to do is, first of all, make sure that everything is saved. I'm going to close out of it. You're going to right-click over this CS230, and we're going to compress it using .zip. And then you're going to take this here zip folder. You're going to submit it to eCampus along with your GitHub repo link, because I don't want to have to go back through previous assignments to find it. You're going to submit the GitHub repo link as a comment. I'll be looking through your GitHub, and then just submit this anyway, just as like redundancy. And make sure that you push everything to GitHub. If you haven't already done so, what we're going to do I don't know why that's the case. Anyway. All right, if you run into an error like this, come and see me. I'll solve this on my own time. But make sure that you push everything to GitHub. Yours should be a little bit smoother, and you can probably use the graphical stuff going on right here. All right, and that's it.